Fiadhna, we're here at the GPA, the annual report. Tell me what you thought overall of maybe some of the motions that have been put forward.
Yeah, I suppose this is probably one of my first times at a GPA event, so I suppose they're all very positive. I was on the call as well last night, and just to see so many players from different counties and stuff back at all the motions is very important. And I suppose they're all player based, and I suppose they're all from players speaking of experience and things that we think that might be able to improve the game for us and at the moment, and for players maybe in the future, just about the structures of the game and I suppose the financial loss of injuries and different aspects like that. And I suppose just things around maybe the split season and stuff, and what we could tweak maybe to make the game a bit better, and probably to support the players to step it more as well.
And what do you think is the most important thing, say for you, for Kerry football, for ladies football as a whole, that's really the issue at the minute?
Yeah, I suppose there's probably numerous factors. I suppose like when they're on about the player charter here this morning, like, you know, we get fairly well looked after in Kerry, which we're lucky, like, but then you're talking to different players from maybe the smaller counties that might be playing junior, intermediate football and camogie, and they're probably not getting the same care that we might be getting, you know. That, like, we're lucky that we get to competitive level every year, maybe like semi-finals or finals, but it's the players that are from the smaller counties that are putting in the exact same effort maybe as us, and they don't get what they're promised, and like girls being out of pocket for going to training or having to move shifts, not being able to get jobs, all revolving around the sake of playing for your county. And like, you know, when you win stuff it's great and you're like, it's well worth it, but it's kind of times when you're losing players are kind of like, is it really worth it? And I suppose you're trying to get the most out of the game and talk to the organisations, but I suppose sometimes you're asking for things and you're getting promised, but you're not really getting anything back.
And have you been in a situation that you've been left out of pocket?
Yeah, I suppose like at the moment, one of the motions that myself, Karen Connolly and Orla Devitt put forward was just the injury fund. I suppose, you know, I unfortunately injured my quad last year, so I had to get surgery, and the surgery alone was 5,800. So I had to take out a loan to pay that off at the start. Then that excludes all your physio, scans, consultations. So by the time I sent off the injury claim, I think my claim was up to 7,800. And then I got 5.5 off the LGFA, 5,500 back off the LGFA. So still out of pocket, probably $2,000 almost, and had to put back starting a new job. And then unfortunately I'm after doing the same injury again, so had to kind of go through the same process again, and realistically we'll be out of more pocket again after this injury. So the space is probably 12 months, you might be out 3,000 or 4,000, which is a lot of money.
Yeah,
you know, like, and especially like I'm lucky that I have a job that I can pay these things off. But if you're in college, like if I was in college now trying to balance everything, I don't think you probably would be able to afford this kind of stuff. So it's hard, like, you know.
Even the mental toll of all that, where am I getting the money?
Yeah.
You have to go looking for a loan, like that is so stressful on a person, and then you're expected to go out and play at this high level for your county.
Yeah, that's the thing, and like, you know, injuries are tough physically, but mentally is huge as well. And like when you have the stress of an injury, you know, and then you have to worry about the financial aspects of things, and trying to get the money or trying to get a loan, and the hassle of that, trying to pay it off, trying to work extra shifts even at work if you possibly can. There's a lot of things behind the scenes probably that you don't see, that a lot of players have a lot of stress probably because of. And I'm just speaking from my own experience, but I'm sure there's players all over the country that have, in the female side anyway, that definitely have the same problem.
And then I wonder, do we have the best players playing the game? Because are a lot of them maybe turned away because, look, it costs me X amount, you know, what I'm getting out of it, what I'm putting into it. And then there might be opportunities in Australia and the likes where they have professional opportunities where they'll get looked after.
Yeah, that's it. Like, and I think it's a major thing. Even they were on about here this morning, on about like we were talking about the players going to Australia. Like, I think a lot of people my age, even at the moment, who don't even play GA or anything like that, are going to Australia anyway, because like the cost of living here and different aspects like is so high. And then then that you're playing county, and then if you're going to be out of pocket, you're really questioning, is it worth it? Like, and you could be over in Australia earning a living by playing a sport, okay, that we didn't grow up with, but you get these opportunities don't come around too often. And I think especially for female athletes, when you get the chance probably to play professionally, it's very hard to turn it down. And like, if you were weighing up the two, you're like, do you stay here, be out of pocket, hopefully obviously win All-Ireland at the end of the year, but if you don't, your year is like, you'd probably question it, and then you're like, you could go to Australia, earn a living, good lifestyle. I think it'd be very hard to say no to, like, and you couldn't really begrudge players for going. So yeah,
And even in terms of fixtures and how the game is being played, the times they're on, the days they're on, how do you find all of that? Obviously this weekend you've obviously a big game against Meath in the All-Ireland quarter-finals. We see that Armagh and Mayo are playing down in Armagh. I think it's 5:45 the game is on again. Not ideal for players, not ideal for supporters trying to get there, say from Mayo to Armagh. How do you find all that side of things, and do you think that needs to be looked into?
Yeah, definitely. Like I think even last year we had the All Ireland final on a Sunday, and then there was players back out in the club championship started the following Thursday. Like, and you have 4 days there probably, and you're mentally wrecked, you're physically wrecked, and it's very hard. And you're putting players at risk of probably injury and stuff. And then like you in different counties, like you might have the club championships played off in 6 weeks, and then you might have a 6 week gap to your provincial championships, and you're like, was there really need to rush that?
Yeah.
And I know like you have to balance between county players and club players, and like club is so important to all of us because we wouldn't be in the county otherwise without them. So you're like, I suppose it's just trying to get the balance right. But I think then as well, like when we're on about the charter and like income at gates and stuff like that, like if we're putting a game on a Sunday evening in Armagh at 6:15, it's not really ideal for getting people in, because you're like,
No.
Our game, we target a lot of young, probably girls and boys that come to our games, but like if you're on a Sunday evening, have to go bring your family to Armagh to see a game, it's very hard, like by the time you're home and everything. And I think there's definitely aspects where we can promote the game a lot better. And obviously it's great like that you're playing them in big stadiums and stuff like that, but that's not the case for the whole championship. I think you hear some stories from different counties that might play in smaller grounds, and you're like, does that really promote the game? It probably doesn't.
Thanks so much, Fiadhna. Thanks for your time. Best of luck now at the weekend.
No bother, thanks very much.
Thank you.